O te mantua se taimi mo mua whatau nu mai te tonu New Zealand. I leo langa whinau male. Nā lan sau New Zealand o tau whai su ni ngā luenga mani a o ngā whale le sui ele. Ie se sui ngā leo langa alo luma. Tau nu male New Zealand ma o i te tonu Wellington. Na o whai ngā luenga leo le se whale ngau si mea, the factory. I nai loa hata. O la ngā luenga mo mua ana. E whai ase tinga hinga o ngā luenga. O le tinga hinga i ngā luenga. O no whale mo mawa wawa bea o ka se tinga hinga o ngā luenga. Be yai nisi ngā luenga whale le sui. And then this Palangi guy at work, na mawhinga luenga whatasi. He was about the same age, 21 at the time. Same age as me. O whalongo, la tau su esa, la umalana ngā luenga, o whai atu leo, Kurt. His name is Kurt. Where are you going? I said, I'm going to study computers. I said, oh, study computers, that's really good. O tell me if I don't know about computers, they don't know this. He's going to study computers. Okay, what job are you looking for? Tell me le ngangu le matua fa vasi ngangu le lava mamma. I te ufa matalama. He's going to study computers to be a computer engineer. Oh, nice. Okay. What can I do to study computer? Yeah, and then we did. We left that job and we went and studied computers. But this is what I mean. This is something that I learned in life. When you discipline yourself, opportunities will come. If you know what I mean. Well, let's study computers. English. I study English at night and study computers during the day. E se vai nā taimi whatu a sau. Pea tai te leile. Sau motu te lea whaale tonu. 10 or 12 months later, I received, I umala computer courses lena o yai, and I learned different things. When I was out there now, this is 100 years ago. I'm not talking about internet these days. Online, but this is many years ago. I was out there knocking on the doors. I've got all my certificates with me, my CV with me, and I was out there knocking on the doors. My name is, I'm looking for a job, please. What sort of work do you do? And then most of the things they see it as, do you have work experience? And I said, no, I don't have any experience because I never worked in the office before. And then people said to me, sorry, there is no job here. So I went next door. And I said the same thing, I'm looking for a job. And people said the same thing. Do you have experience? Do you have this? Do you have this? And I said, no, I don't. How can I, I need to work so that I can learn the experience. But people kept on saying, no. If you don't want, if you don't have work experience, sorry. This is not, we don't have a job for you. And that's when I realized, after 2 weeks or so knocking on doors, that's when I realized, hey, I need work experience. Mantua, I love to let finger raise officer mobile. I love to tama mafamana if you finger ring officer. Anyway, and then a thought come into my head. I've always believed when you discipline yourself, when you focus, when this is what you want, God will help you. A thought come into my mind, mantua, a officer na CAB to tono hat, which is a community officer valele o itanga te fia maoni so an immigration passport, whatever that you need. A CAB, it's a community office, Citizen Advice Bureau. O wale officer na risita au fai atu le fine na mata no mal fine. Okay, if you want to come and do some work experience, we can give you, these 3 days a week because other people also do work experience here. And then she gave me 3 days a week to start work experience. Even a weekend, she said, are you available on the weekend? I said, yes, I'm available. Boom, I ended up doing work experience almost every day there. Photocopy, printing, answer the phone, do little things on the computer. But that's where I started my work experience. Because when I knock on the doors and people said, you need work experience. That's when I realized, yes, of course I do. I need work experience. 3 weeks later, o la tano le fine le aia male Samoan o falong pala ka le talofa talofa. I'm not going to mention but his name, but very successful man in Wellington. And then they were talking and life is city le tamalo, look, Miriam, I'm looking for what courses do you have here? What computer courses do you have? Telecomputer courses, for your pamphlet, brochures. And Miriam said, oh, okay, what are you looking for? And this is what he said, Alefelo. And I heard, I'm looking for a Pacific Island person to teach computer skills to school leavers. Those who just came out of school with no computer skills, I want someone in the Pacific Island community to come and teach these skills. When I heard that, man, I couldn't believe it. I said to myself, thank you, God, you answered my prayers. This is me listening from, inside the office. Miriam, look, I've got a Pacific Island. He's a Samoan. He can do it. He's really good with computers. He's really good with answering the phone. He's really good. I don't know what else he's good with. And then she came into the room and she said to me, Ami, I want you to come and meet this guy. I looked at him and said, is he Samoan? He's a Palangi looking man. I couldn't believe it. He walked to me and said, Ami, are you Samoan? I said, yes. He said, Talofa, and I go, whoa, this guy can speak English. I mean, this guy is a Palangi looking man. But he could speak Samoan. And then we started talking in Samoan. And we ended up, and he said to me, look, Ami, I want you to come tomorrow. I'll do an interview, a job interview, and I want you to start next week. And that's how I got my very first job. That was my very first office teaching computers to the school leavers that just came out of school. But this is where I'm coming from. I knocked on so many doors. In that first 2-3 weeks, I knocked on so many doors. Even the door, I've been there. And I went there before. And the Palangi looked at me and goes, it's your name is Ami? I said, yes. How do you know me? You came here yesterday looking for a job. Get out of here. I said, I'm sorry. I'll be back here tomorrow. Look. Ami, we don't have a job for you. Ami, we don't get out of here. That's all I did. Knocking on the doors, keep on going, because God will help you. I didn't care what people said. All I wanted is a job. When I realized people said, Ami, you need work experience, that's when I found work experience. But within that work experience, 3-4 weeks later, God sent an angel into the office and said, hey, we're looking for someone who can teach. We're looking for a Pacific Island person who could teach computers. Bang. I got my opportunity. This is where I'm coming from. I want to give up more fear. I want to feel more fear. Discipline is the key. Perseverance is the key. Keep on going, because God will give you the opportunity if you keep on going. Do something for work experience. You don't have what it takes to do it. Just keep on going. Look for opportunities. Look for where you can see opportunities that you can get into the opportunity and work hard. Ole tele la te mitatou te ola fina, ole telefona fa mjanga le tu. Ia te oi. Faftai.